Every Man His Own University by Russell Conwell. Publisher's Introduction. Thank you for picking up a copy of Every Man His Own University by Russell Conwell. We have updated this work into modern English so you can understand exactly what Conwell wrote over 100 years ago. We encourage you to refer to the original writing as you listen to this updated work. If you enjoy this book, please share with a friend, leave a positive review on Amazon, and see more updated works at oldbooknew.com. Chapter 1. Every Man's University. Each person carries their own unique university in their mind. The only person who truly succeeds in the universities of the world and in the larger university of life is the one who has first completed their graduate and postgraduate studies in the university within their own mind. There, observation offers a daily change in the curriculum. Books are not the original sources of power. Instead, observation, which can provide us with broad experience, deep thinking, strong emotions, and the ability to act independently, is the true source of power. Without observation, literature and meditation are like rain and sunshine on untouched soil. The only true schools and colleges are those that focus on teaching students to see more clearly what they are looking at, helping them notice things they wouldn't have observed without their education. You can't make a good arrow from a pig's tail, and it's rare to find someone worthwhile who hasn't learned to be alert to what can be seen or heard early in life. John Stuart Blackie points out that it's surprising how often we walk around with our eyes wide open but see nothing. And Dr. Johnson notes that some people will see more while riding 10 miles on the top of a bus than others will see while traveling across a continent. How to observe should be our motto, not just at the start of our lives, but throughout our entire journey. With the same intellectual abilities and interests, two people can walk side by side through the same landscape and encounter the same individuals. One person finds great inspiration from the surroundings and is deeply engaged with everything they see and hear among the people. The other person, however, finds no inspiration from the beauty, birds, or flowers, and is only entertained by the trivial aspects of the people. A traveler in Athens or Rome, Paris or London might be shown around these cities by a professional guide, yet only gain a little understanding of what these cities have to offer and remember only a small part of what they've seen. Another traveler without a guide but paying attention to everything they see and hear will leave with experiences from their visit that will be interesting for a lifetime and useful to anyone who follows in their footsteps. The solo but observant traveler in a new country almost always benefits the most from their travels. They are forced to notice streets and buildings, parks and people. Every day of their journey becomes a lesson in observation that helps them remember everything they've seen. Newspaper correspondents from the past didn't have guidebooks or guides, and they were complete strangers in the places they visited. They relied entirely on themselves to find their way and discover everything valuable and interesting. They found much that modern guides either overlook or ignore, and wrote for their readers back home about what would be most interesting and informative. When Henry M. Stanley first visited Jerusalem, he insisted that the guide in charge of his group keep all guides and guidebooks out of his sight. In just 2 days, Stanley knew the streets, the location of the temple, the Holy Sepulchre, and all the notable places in that ancient city. If Stanley is known today as one of the most intelligent travelers, it's mainly because he excelled in daily observation, which everyone who thinks for themselves recognizes as the most important skill of a good education. He often said that he knew Rome, Naples, and Vienna far better than he knew New York, where he had lived for many years. In that way, he was like most people, who generally know less about what's notable in their hometowns than observant visitors who stay there only briefly during their travels. What we invest time and effort in seems more valuable. No effort, no value. A renowned foreign correspondent of his time, Henry W. Chambers, spent only 6 hours at Baalbek, near Damascus. Yet he wrote what is likely the clearest description ever of the magnificent temples at Baalbek. And he did this from Hong Kong, after having many varied experiences visiting other, more significant places. Many archaeologists and literary figures before him had visited the moat of the great fortress at Baalbek. However, they never observed as Chambers did, and so they missed seeing the arrowheads and all the other warlike instruments used in those ancient days, which had gone unnoticed among those huge pillars and great foundation stones. Although General Lew Wallace spent a long time in Jerusalem, he only imagined that there might have been an inner dungeon beneath the great prison. So when he wrote Ben-Hur, he placed his leprous heroine into this imaginary prison. Later, a schoolteacher from northern England, with her tourist lantern, discovered the doorway to this prison that Wallace had only imagined. For centuries, travelers journeying from Egypt and Palestine to the Euphrates had taken the same path through the desert. However, it was a marble inscription cutter who, after all these centuries, noticed the Rosetta Stone. Thanks to this discovery, archaeologists can now read the inscriptions on the tablets in the ancient palaces of Babylon and Nineveh. Millions of people had seen the lid of a tea kettle moving up and down over boiling water before the Scotsman, Watt, noticed it while making watches. But he was the first among all those millions whose careful observation led him to explore the power of boiling water in the tea kettle. He then applied this power to the steam engine, which remains a major driving force in the world. Since the time of the Garden of Eden, apples had been falling in orchards around the world during harvest. Out of all the billions who had seen apples fall, only Sir Isaac Newton recognized the law of gravity involved in their falling. All the great discoverers started with almost the same basic ability to observe as everyone else, but early in life, they learned to value this incredible power to pay close attention above all other mental abilities. Each of them enriched their field of observation with their discoveries. Why do most of us go through life without noticing the millions of amazing truths and facts, while only a few keep their eyes and ears wide open, busy every day collecting what they observe? It seems like losing our instincts is the price we pay today for the few minor things we learn from school and college. We push aside our natural thinking to make room for our education. The person who diligently develops their observation skills and gains daily insights from their experiences, allowing them to see everything in life more clearly and deeply, has given themselves a discipline far more important than what schools and colleges can offer without it. The greatest textbooks from the top universities are just records of the observations made by keen observers who developed their ability to see things better, mostly while they were learning on their own. The intellect acts like both a telescope and a microscope. When used correctly, it can notice countless things that are too small or too far away for those who don't truly see or hear. The intellect can be trained to look far beyond what people usually notice. However, no college in the world can grant this ability on its own. This is the reward of self-culture. Each person must develop it for themselves. Perhaps this is why the ability to